So as far as deployment goes, you do need to sign up for a free Heroku account, which is actually pretty easy. Does not take very long. And once you set up the free account, okay, then you have to download and install Heroku Cli, which is their command line interface. Once you have that downloaded and installed, then you need to navigate to your virtual environment, make sure it's active, and then there's actually 3 different packages that you have to install. And this first one is different than what is in the book. So take note of that. I did note it at the top of this document, but this is different than what is in the book. Otherwise, you can pretty much follow what's in the book and you will not have any issues. So I've already created the account. I've downloaded and installed the CLI. So what I'm going to do is install these packages in my learning log app. Okay, so I kind of kept this one running because I knew we would be doing this. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got my environment active. Okay, so I installed it once before, so it says it's good. I'm just going to go ahead and run through this. All right, so that one is good too. Yours are obviously going to take longer because you have never done this before. And this has already been installed too. So you're going to basically do the same thing, but you're going to see some progress bars and it's going to take longer. And basically what these packages do, the first one manages the database that Heroku uses. The second one manages our app configuration to make sure that it can run on Heroku servers. And the Gunicorn provides a server capable of serving apps in a live environment, which is what we will be deploying to. The next thing that we have to do is create a requirements file to tell Heroku which packages our project depends on. So at our command prompt, we are going to run the following commands to create a requirements text file. So this goes into the root of your project. Okay, so I'm going to kind of come down here and show you what it looked like when I initially installed these different apps. Okay, and so now I'm going to go ahead and execute this command. Okay, and it does kind of look like it didn't do anything. But if we go into VS Code, you can actually double check to see if this worked. And I can see requirements.txt here. And so you can see it is including the different things that I've installed and the various versions. And that's exactly what the requirements does. And what we have is probably going to be different than what the textbook author is displaying. So don't change this file because it is showing what you have on your system. So the next thing we have to do is create a runtime text file, and that'll go in the same directory as requirements. And this just needs to have your Python version in there. So you can double check your version, okay? Right here in the command prompt. And I believe I have the most current version. Okay, but if you aren't sure, you certainly can check. And for those of you who don't remember the command, it's Python space dash dash version. So you're going to create a little text file, and you can do this over here. So I'm going to do a new file, and I'm going to put my version in there. All lowercase. And once I've got that, I'm going to save it as runtime.txt. And it should go where requirements is located. So there's requirements.txt. And I've added runtime to that. Our next little adjustment is going to be to the settings file. And so the new code that we need to add should go at the bottom. Okay, so this is the code that we need to add. And I'm just going to copy and paste into settings. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and put in this code. And then our last little task in this segment is to create a procedure file, a proc file. And it basically is going to tell Heroku which processes to start to properly serve our project. And so it's going to be basically a one-line command in this file. And the file is not going to have an extension. And it needs to go in the same directory as manage. So if you look, requirements and runtime are in the same directory as manage. So it's our main directory. So I'm going to do a new file. And I'm going to carefully key this in. All right. So now I'm going to save. And you'll notice if I scroll to the bottom, there is a no extension option. And so we're going to do an uppercase P and call it proc file. And that should be, believe it's your learning log folder. Let's make sure it's in the right spot. No, it does not. I can see right now. I believe it needs to be up a level. As we said, it had to be the same level as manage. So let me move this out. All right, now it's in the right spot. All righty. So at this point, I'm kind of set up, and my next step is going to be to push the entire project to GitHub. And from GitHub, then I'm going to deploy to Heroku.